Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Wednesday, April the 16th. And welcome to our commentary. I have a post over at the American Thinker talking about what I think is going to be probably the biggest primary fight that I've ever seen in Texas. And I've been in Texas 40 years. I moved here in 1984. So this is going to be big. I remember the one between Ted Cruz and I think it was Lieutenant Governor Whitehurst in 2012. That was pretty big too. But this one is going to exceed all expectations, and that's why in my American Thinker post I use the analogy of a heavyweight boxing match. You know, those big heavyweight fights that we saw back in the 70s between Ali and Frazier, those amazing fights that went down in history as some of the great ones. And that's how I see this developing. This is going to be huge. And it's like anything else. When something is that huge and that divisive, it could end up hurting the party. And what I mean by that, for example, let's say that Cornyn wins. And I know there are some strong feelings against Cornyn, you know, in parts of the Republican Party. Are those people going to stay home and potentially open the possibility of a Democrat winning simply because a lot of Republicans stay home? I hope not, but those are the risks. That's always the risk when you have these very heavy primary fights. But at the moment, I have no idea who's going to win. You know, I hear all kinds of predictions as to who's going to win. I have no idea who's going to win because I don't think anybody really knows because there's so many balls in the air with these two men. Now, look, Cornyn comes into and I talk about this in my article. Cornyn comes into the fight with a history of winning elections and winning elections in big numbers. He was elected and reelected to the Senate. He ran in 2020 for the Senate, and that was the year that President Trump won Texas, I think, by 7, but he ended up winning Texas by 15. Now, I don't remember what the numbers were like in 2014, but I'm pretty sure he won fairly big. In 2014, I think then Abbott, governor, when Greg Abbott ran for the first time, I think he won by 20 points or so. So it's possible that Cornyn ran with numbers like that too. I don't remember right now. But I do know that he is a very electable Republican in Texas. And what I mean by that is that he appeals to a lot of independents. And I think he also appeals to a lot of Democrats. And that's why he can put together these big victories that he puts. On the other hand, Attorney General Paxton has a very devoted base. I mean, the people who are going to turn out for Paxton he's going to be very good at turnout. He's going to be huge at turnout. He's going to get a lot of very dedicated people who want to see Paxton go to Washington and, you know, be tough on this and be tough on that. And that's okay. I respect those people. But I mean, you have to be honest and admit that Cornyn, and at least in my mind, is more electable than Paxton. That doesn't mean that Paxton is going to lose. Don't misunderstand me. Paxton, one of these two guys is going to win because the Democrats are in such disarray. They don't have anybody on the Democrat Party who has a clue of how to win in Texas, at least statewide. I mean, they tried it with Beto, and that was a freaky thing. That was a one-year thing. A lot of that had to do with the dynamics of 2018 and the fact that they organized themselves so well, and people were voting, you know, party vote, you know, just straight party. And I think that helped the Democrats a great deal. But, you know, Beto ran again in 2022, and he didn't go anywhere. He ended up, 14 points behind, 13 points behind. So they don't really have anybody. The Castro brothers out of San Antonio, one of them may run, but I don't think that they can appeal to a constituency greater than what the Democrats already have. In other words, what the Democrats need is somebody in 2026, if they want to win, somebody who can break the 50% mark or at least be close enough to 50% where you could win maybe a close race. They don't have anybody like that right now. So that's the big reason or the big help that the Republicans have, that whether it's Paxton or Cornyn, they should be able to retain that seat in November. But the primary is going to be very tough. The primary is going to be, as I write in my post, I can't wait to see the TV ads because they're going to be rough. These two guys are going to go at each other, and they're going to be pretty rough with each other. I think my guess is that Paxton will accuse Cornyn of being a rhino, and then Cornyn will accuse Paxton of ethical problems, the impeachment that he had, that he survived, but those problems. So, look, I think it's going to be interesting to watch. It will be, I think, one of the 2 or 3 most important elections of 2026. I mean, the Republicans have some pickup possibilities in Georgia. They have a pickup possibility in Michigan. So people will watch those. But I believe that this one here in Texas will overwhelm the country or the politics, the political pundits, if for no other reason that Texas is so big. I mean, you have so many TV markets here. You've got Houston, Dallas area, Austin, San Antonio, El Paso. I guess maybe I forgot one, but those are all pretty good sized TV markets. So you got to spend a lot of money in Texas. If you want to compete in the state, you got to blow a lot of millions of dollars in Texas, particularly for a primary like this. You're going to have to really bring in a lot of money to be able to run the kind of television campaign, TV ads that you're going to need. It's going to be interesting, and it hasn't even started yet. Hasn't even started yet. We haven't really seen anything. My guess is that we'll start seeing maybe some commercials after Labor Day, for sure, toward the end of the year, for sure. And then after the first of the year, it's going to be hands down, World War III between these two men. It's going to be it's going to be interesting to watch, to say the least. So Paxton and Cornyn, the big primary coming up. And as I said, in my American Thinker post, I talk about this as if this is going to be a big heavyweight fight, and that's what it's going to be. Let me do a couple of quick stories. I have a post coming out tomorrow about the senator from Maryland going down to El Salvador. He thinks he's going to go down there and get to see this guy and pick him up and bring him back. Well, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. He's not going to get to see him, from what I understand. And if he brings him back, the man is going to be arrested at immigration and deported again, because obviously he was deported once and will be deported again. So I don't know how this trip by the Maryland senator is helping anybody. I have no idea why he's doing it, other than maybe getting some publicity. But that's the way it is. Look, this man who was sent down to El Salvador, number one, he was already in the country illegally. And number two, he has a deportation letter. That right there is enough to deport anybody. I mean, the MS-13 stuff and all of that, that's not really, in my opinion, the critical part. That's what everybody's talking about. Is he a member? I have no idea whether he is or not. He denies it. His wife is denying it. So look, I don't know. I don't know that he is or isn't. I understand that a judge determined that he was. Okay, all right. But the bottom line is he doesn't have to be a member of MS-13 to get deported. The mere fact that he was in the country illegally and that he didn't respect a deportation notice, that's enough right there to get you deported. So anyway, I have no idea why the Democrats are so focused on this, but you have to wonder what kind of pressure they're getting from their base for the senator from Maryland to go down there. And then there's others, I understand, who want to take a trip to El Salvador. Where were those people? I mean, have they ever taken a trip to a communist country to see a political prison down in Cuba? Have they ever done that? I mean, this is crazy what these people are doing. I mean, there's lots of better examples of political prisoners in Cuba or Nicaragua or Venezuela. Where are these people? Why aren't they going to those places? That's the question That's the question that I have. A couple of other stories too circulating. The Department of Justice is going after the state of Maine over women and men competing in sports. Look, this is a crazy story to me. How in the world anybody can support men competing as women? Now, the governor of Maine was on TV, I don't know, sometime this morning, and she said that she only has 2 cases of women or men competing as women. Well, so what? So there shouldn't be one in my mind. There shouldn't be one. These 2 guys are not women, and they're denying young women their trophies and their rankings, and in some cases their scholarships. So this is insane why the Democrats would want to fight this. And where are the feminists? Where are all the groups that want to protect women? Because this is a good way to protect women, is to keep men from competing against them in these events. And the other big story too is what may be happening in New York with Attorney General James. Letitia James, she's being accused, and again, allegation, all I have, of mortgage fraud, which is rather ironic because she was going after President Trump for fraud. And apparently the information that they have on this lady is pretty good and pretty strong. So we'll see how the case goes. But it's rather ironic, I think, that the Attorney General of New York, who had this case against Donald Trump, this fraud case against Donald Trump that was extremely weak, where no one could prove any fraud. The bank, the insurance company came to the trial and said, no, there was no fraud. There was no fraud here. And yet they went on with it. And now she could be the target of a mortgage fraud case. Wow. That would be something to watch as well. And again, by what I've read, the charges could be very tough on the Attorney General from New York. Last but not least, we remember Pope Benedict on this day. He was born in 1927, passed away 2022, passed away. He was the Pope, I guess, from about 2005, when John Paul II passed away, to, I believe, 15 or 17, and then Pope Francis came in. But I always liked Benedict. I thought Benedict was a very strict Catholic and very conservative, and something that the church needed at the time. I think with Francis, we've gone a bit to the left again. But I like Benedict, and I thought his teachings and his image and his personality was good for the church. On the other hand, I think Pope Francis, unfortunately, has done some harm to the church by sometimes sounding more like a Western European socialist than a pope who should be concerned about religion, and that should be it. Well, thank you for listening. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye, everybody.